Y'all know I love a good experiment, and I admit that I forgot about 2 loaves of dough that were fermenting on the counter. I had a very busy day. I taught a sourdough class, and then life happened and I forgot about them. So I decided to go ahead and shape and bake them anyways, because I really do not like to waste any of my dough. So this dough was full of bubbles. It was very light and it was very sticky. I had a very hard time getting it out of the bowl. Once I got it out onto the countertop, I just sprinkled it with a little bit of flour, and then I cut the dough in half and went ahead and shaped 2 separate loaves. They actually shaped much easier than I was expecting, and you'll see they are sticking to the counter a little bit, but that's totally normal. That happens even with my perfectly fermented loaves as well. Once I got them shaped, I actually didn't do a bench rest because they were already super overproof, so I didn't want to leave them at room temperature any longer than I had to. So I just went ahead and did my final shaping, and then I put them both into their bannetons and put them into the refrigerator right away. I also didn't want to overwork the dough because it's so over fermented. So I just did my regular catty class method and then popped them into the refrigerator overnight. I almost even skipped the refrigeration step, but decided to go ahead and cold proof because I do like the flavor that the cold proofing adds. And then I did my normal wheat stock scoring and plopped them into the oven at 485 for about 20 minutes, took the lid off and baked for another 20 minutes at 450, which is what I do with all of my loaves. They did start to flatten out a little bit after I scored them, so I got them right into the oven in the preheated Dutch ovens, and they actually turned out pretty decent. They were a little more dense than normal, but overall not too bad. So this just goes to prove that life does happen, and don't let sourdough run your life. It is so much more resilient than you thought, and it is always better to have a loaf of homemade sourdough bread than something from the store.